20 years of Ben 10, with a new comic run coming soon. Most of my Ben 10 videos are finally out of copyright jail, and since I consider myself a partial Ben 10 YouTuber, amongst my other content, I want to look at something that's special to the series, the aliens. Today, I'll be looking at the canon list of aliens with a couple of exceptions to what many would consider canon. However, I still place them on this list, considering them canon to some extent. Please note, this is just my personal opinion. When it comes to the ranking, this isn't an official list of which aliens are objectively better. This is simply why I like them. We're starting from the classic series and going all the way to the reboot. For this video, I'll be using my own ranking system: Ultra, Hero, Alien, Zero, and the worst. So, getting into it, starting off with the one and only Heat Blast. He was the first alien we ever saw, and growing up with the classic series, you were either Team Heat Blast or Team Forearms. I don't know if people still use this phrase in the community, but whenever a new series started, people would always ask, who's going to be the new Heat Blast of the group? Personally, I don't think any design of Heat Blast is bad, and that just shows how iconic the alien is. For that reason, he's going straight into Ultra. Wild Mutt is a very interesting alien. His design hasn't really changed much over the years, and he's the closest thing to a beast in Ben's arsenal. One of the most interesting parts of Wild Mutt was his relationship with Gwen, especially her understanding his language. My biggest disappointment though, is never seeing the quill attack he's said to have. Because of that, I'll be putting him in Hero. Diamond Head was an alien I didn't really like at the start of the series, but over the years, and through everything we've seen, he grew on me the most. Much like Heat Blast, it feels like Ben had the most fun experimenting with Diamond Head. His own hasn't changed much, and honestly, it's too iconic to change. With that, he goes in Ultra. Accelerate, in my opinion, is the most iconic alien in the entire Omnitrix. There's a reason his design has never changed, and why this is the alien chosen for Ben 10,000. He deserves no lower than Ultra tier. Grey Matter is an interesting alien, but he isn't the most alien looking alien on this list. I think the classic series showed him off the best, but later on, there were often better picks. Because of that, he lands in Hero tier. Forearms for many people, the most iconic alien on this list. I definitely disagree with those who say he's just a strong alien and that's it. However, as the series went on, he didn't feel as special to bring out compared how it did in classic, so I'll be putting him in Hero. Because of the reboot, I'm tempted to put Stinkfly in Zero. I will say his ultimate alien appearance is the best, especially with the dial on his chest. It's sad that not many people cared for him, but I definitely did, so he's going into Hero. And for those who love the reboot, everyone is entitled to their own opinion, but just tell me how the flowers smell real quick. Out of the original 10, Ridgeos was definitely probably my favourite from a horror perspective. It's a shame he was the most underused. With the reboot giving Gwen a breathing device for Ripjaws, I feel like he shouldn't be useless out of water anymore. We've seen him have two major appearances with a more carp-like design in the second. You just can't beat the anglerfish design, and for that reason, he goes in Hero. Upgrade is a very interesting alien, being able to, well, upgrade technology. His design is great, and with the sheer number of upgraded forms we've seen, there's nowhere else he belongs but Ultra tier. Now, there are two versions of Ghost Freak that I'll be counting in this video. I'll get to the other one later, but for this version, I'm actually putting him in Alien tier. While he has some interesting showings, it was version 2 that really stole the spotlight. Next up, we have one of my favourite aliens, and he's going straight into Ultra tier. No question, Cannibal just feels powerful. He's easily one of the most versatile aliens in the Omnitrix. Fast, durable, and basically a living pinball of destruction. Ever since his first introduction, he's been my favourite alien, and that's never really changed. He's going straight into Ultra tier. In the classic series, Wildvine was great. He felt powerful in a different way, relying more on traps and camouflage, almost like a Rambo style character. It's just a shame that later on, especially in Omniverse, they didn't into him making more of a stoner character, along with the rest of his species. I do have to ask though, do you prefer him moving like a snake or walking normally? Either way, I'm putting him in Hero tier. Other than being Kai's favourite alien, Beast Wolfer hasn't changed that much design wise over the years, and that split mouth has always been a great design choice. I will say the original design felt more threatening, more werewolf-like, whereas the Omniverse version leaned a bit more furry. I don't think it's a bad design, but for me, he doesn't go above alien tier. Yes, there are two versions of Upchuck, and this is the perk version. I think it's a great design, a gummy amoeba-like alien that can eat just about anything. With how he was used and how unique he is, I'd have to put him in hero tier. I'll be honest, there isn't a whole lot I can say about 𝕋𝕚𝕐𝕤𝕥. I like the Mummin design, and I really like what Omniverse did with him. Honestly, it's one of the best redesigns in that show. I'm just a bit disappointed by his overall show of power. Because of that, he goes into alien tier. Now, this is a very interesting design, especially with all the tech coming out of his body. The classic version is great. However, the Omniverse design kind of ruins it for me, mainly because of the stitching. Overall, I think he's a bit too basic, so I'm putting him in alien tier. I know a lot of people love Ditto, but I'll be honest, he's a 0 for me. I know he was based on a character from Animaniacs, but outside of being a reference with a cool power, he later lost the more interesting way he split. To me, he just doesn't work anymore, so he lands in 0 tier. An alien that really came out of nowhere. I like his design a lot. Actually, having the eyes where his ears should be is a great touch, and I like the different elements he can use through his eyes. That said, he feels really underutilized in the show. So far to me, he belongs in alien tier. 𝕋𝕚𝕐𝕥 made a massive impact the moment he appeared. This is how you do an introduction. I still don't think there's a single 𝕋𝕚𝕐𝕥 moment in Ben 10 that I dislike. His design did change over time, and I do think he lost a bit of his original charm. But whenever he's on screen, you know a good fight is coming. If they had kept his classic design, I would have given him an Ultra, but overall, hero tier feels right. So yeah, the original version of Eon was an alien, a 𝕋𝕚𝕞. It's interesting that this was such a human-like transformation, especially since the writers were fans of Doctor Who. I was assuming that this was meant to be a reference to the Time Lords. For what he was at the time, it was a cool and interesting concept, but honestly, I don't think he goes above alien tier. Before we move on to AlienForce, we need to look forward to the future, specifically the aliens introduced by Ben 10,000. To start us off, we have Spitter. Spitter is one of the more unique alien designs. He's an interesting alien capable of charging up a powerful liquid blast that started to hit with more force than forearms. For me, he goes in hero tier. I really wish we could have seen more of him. When I first saw Buzzshock appear on screen, I was beyond excited. This was an alien we'd technically seen before, and I always loved the episode he originally appeared in. I know his design is pretty simple, but I think it works really well. And with everything we've seen his species do on screen, he absolutely belongs in Ultra tier. Our first ice alien, if we don't count Heat Blast. I will say I liked his original appearance more than the Omniverse design. In Omniverse he feels a bit too much like a Skylander to me. That said, the overall design is still great. He belongs in hero tier. Now onto the more questionable canon aliens. We have 3 here, since they were mentioned in the classic series alongside Topic, and they also received artwork from someone who worked on the show. 𝕋𝕚𝕐𝕥 goes into alien tier. Not much to say here. Sandbox goes into hero tier. He's basically like a sand version of Goop. Shellhead reminds me of an armored version of Spitter. It's also like to put him in hero tier, and honestly, he's the one whose design I like the most out of the 3. Starting us off is Swampfire. He's the poster boy for AlienForce, and honestly, he should be Ultra tier. But then Omniverse happened. They really should have made this version a separate character, same species, slightly different moveset. As it stands, that change knocks him down for me, so unfortunately he'd be staying in hero tier. Echo belongs in Ultra tier. He really feels like Buzzshock, but with sound powers instead of electricity. He's fun, effective, and has a solid design all around. Probably the most disappointing alien I ever saw in Omniverse. A dinosaur that can grow in size is a cool idea, and the aura this alien had in AlienForce was amazing. He felt like a more animalistic version of 𝕋𝕚𝕐𝕥, and I loved that. So, please tell me why does he suddenly feel like the big, dumb, strong guy in Omniverse? Surely he was playing for laughs sometimes in later AlienForce and Ultimate Alien, but those moments were rare and he still felt powerful. In Omniverse, he just felt like a caveman. All that said, he still belongs in hero tier. Jerry had a solid design and has been consistently great, straight into ultra tier. Onto another alien Omniverse kind of ruined. Big Chill was probably my favourite alien in AlienForce. He really let himself go after the pregnancy. That said, the design did grow on me over the years and he just barely makes it into ultra tier. An interesting alien, and this is where Omniverse actually did something right. I really love the night-like aesthetic they gave Chroma Stone. It fits him perfectly, making him feel like a forgotten protector. With such a solid design, he absolutely belongs in ultra tier. A very interesting idea for an alien. Any crustacean based design is a win in my book. I like how they made Brainstorm and Grey Matter feel unique, not just in intelligence, but in how Ben uses them, and how they think. I enjoy him on screen, but for me, he lands in hero tier. Not too much to say here. He gives Ben a unique power set, so credit where credit's due. His design never feels bad, but it never really feels great either. For that uniqueness alone, he goes into hero tier. A unique addition to Ben's playlist, basically upgrade but acidic. He's controlled by his little UFO, which only feels like a restriction that should have been removed by now. It always felt like a limitation they introduced but never fully thought through. He's an okay alien overall, so he goes into alien tier. For an alien hyped up to multiple times with contingencies, plot devices, and godlike power literally shown on screen, you'd think he'd be in ultra tier, but honestly, he feels like a disappointment compared to what he could have been. That said, he still has way too many cool moments to go any lower than hero tier. Cool design all around, and his team up attacks with Kevin are always fun. That said, he felt a bit underused and kind of stiff in a lot of places, so he goes in alien tier. I'm just going to slide right into ultra tier. I don't think anyone's going to disagree with me over that. Since this counts as a separate transformation, and it was treated that way even back in Classic, I'm counting it separately. Not much to say other than couldn't control it, but sick design. Hero tier. The Merc version of Upchuck also considered its own transformation. I think it's cool that they went for a more lizard-like look instead of the gummy style. Honestly, it's nothing special and nowhere near as good as the perk version. Alien tier. The movie is the only good thing associated with 𝕋𝕚𝕞𝕒𝕤. If they had given him nanochip powers, especially after Ben killed the Queen, he could have been really cool. Instead, he's just an even smaller grey matter. He goes into alien tier. A lot of you probably won't know who Rox is. He and the next alien only appeared outside English speaking countries and even got figures. He reminds me of The Thing, and while Dime Head felt like a unique spin on that concept, this just feels like The Thing painted green. Alien tier. Same deal as Rox in terms of appearances, but this one actually feels like an alien. Probably because squids already feel alien. And he reminds me of something straight out of War of the Worlds. For that, Squid Stricter goes into hero tier. On to Ultimate Alien, and starting off with Water Hazard, he has zero bad designs, and I always enjoy Hydrokinesis, being shrimp inspired, and another alien Omniverse actually redesigned beyond well. He absolutely belongs in Ultra tier. Another aquatic alien with electric powers. Not much else to say, cool design, cool concept, and another cephalopod in Ben's roster. Hero tier. An armoured excavating armadillo. Interesting design, solid power set, simple and effective. Hero tier. A big turtle with aerokinesis. He feels like Cannonbolt if Cannonbolt evolved into flight. Hero tier. Love his design, being trapped inside armour while also being a walking pile of nuclear energy. Hero tier. Designed to promote a game, he's fast, that's about it. Alien tier. A very interesting alien with temporal bending. He can see past moments, stop time, rewind it, and technically makes him the fastest alien in the Armatrix. He's powerful and always fun to watch. With all that in mind, Ultra tier. Spy, but he's a scaly. Alien tier. Omniverse definitely improved his design, and while I like it, he still feels like Upchuck but with a laser focus. Interesting, but not really necessary. Alien tier. He reminds me of those old war posters with the little devil mascot. I'm pretty sure that's intentional. I like his design and pilot getup, but he feels like a master Lego builder more than anything. Alien tier. an electric yeti, and thankfully, only one more electric alien to go. Hero tier. We now move on to Omniverse, starting us off with the one and only Feedback, and our final electric alien. He had an entire arc dedicated to him, showing just how much he means to Ben, and on top of that, he's simply a great alien overall. It's hard to put him anywhere other than Ultra tier, a Lego gorilla. 0 tier. Gyro telekinesis is a really interesting power, and honestly, one of my favourite uses of abilities in the series. Being a living miniature planet with the core exposed is such a cool design choice. Easily Ultra tier. A giant grasshopper with incredibly powerful legs that can tank the impact of his own attacks. And then some. Not much else to say, but he specifically really works for him. Hero tier. He spits out a ball of plasma that can grow and then explode. Simple, effective, and his design matches perfectly. Hero tier. He's a slippery fish. 0 tier. With Sandman-like powers, pesky Dusk can put people to sleep and into their dreams. I like the design, and the voice really fits well too. Hero tier. Funny enough, he's actually indestructible, which is useful. That said, the design is intentionally ugly, and I really wish they'd done something more with him. 0 tier. I enjoy Molstache for what he is, however he's nothing special, so he'll be going in Alien. A fighter who focuses primarily on leg-based combat is actually a pretty interesting concept. Hero tier. I want to put him higher, but honestly, even with a cool concept and a design I like, I don't feel like he's more than Alien tier. He can fly, he can use a laser whip, and I enjoy seeing him on screen. I really wish they changed his voice a little though. Hero tier. A frog agent, great design, and I always enjoyed him whenever he showed up. Hero tier. He feels like a mix of Goku and Superman, but with atomic powers. Ultra tier. A walking laboratory with some really interesting abilities. That said, he feels more like a combo or team attack alien when Ben switches mid-fight. Hero tier. A vampire alien who's a great addition, especially alongside others from his own world. Hero tier. An interesting alien introduced for a game. Since he's playable at its official release, I'm counting him. Not much else to say beyond the fact that he's basically Sonic's spin dash ability. I like his design, and he fills a role without feeling like a worse version of Cannibal. Hero tier. Moving on to the reboot, starting with Overflow. He does feel like a straight up Water Hazard clone, but with a more mechanical design. For what it's worth, I actually think he deserves Ultra tier. An alien with a lot of powers, but he's mainly remembered for how he combines with other aliens to enhance them. He has a really unique design that I'd love to see more of, and for that, he earns Ultra tier. An alien that works like a Russian doll. Every time he duplicates, he gets stronger. Interesting power, okay design, Hero tier. Vilgax, but as one of Ben's aliens. Ultra tier. Yes, this is technically one of Kevin's aliens. However, since he isn't a dark version of another alien and is still connected to the Omnitrix, I think it's to say Ben has access to this form somewhere. It's a solid design. Like Raph, if Raph were Wolverine, and this was more along the lines of Sabretooth. Hero tier. Looking at him as his own alien, he's literally just a floating X. More of a plot device than anything else. Alien tier. Now on to the extra aliens. I'm going to fly through things, as they were made for Cartoon Network commercials. Bob the Bob, 0 tier, literally just a snail. Anti-Gravitesla, Alien tier, nothing too interesting, just a worse Gravitac. Plant Apocalypse, Hero tier, an actually interesting idea. A flower that turns into a world-ending kaiju. Literally, just a dancing hot dog. Ultra tier. In total, that makes 80 aliens. To be fair, I doubt many people will count the Cartoon Network only aliens, which would bring the number down to 76. There are still plenty of aliens I didn't go over, mainly because I couldn't justify them being canon enough compared to the rest of the list. I was tempted to remove Shellhead since he's been described as a turtle hiding in a shell, but that could be explained away in a few different ways, so I decided to let him in. I was always tempted to include Slaptrack and Unitar, since Ben technically did transform into them, but honestly, that felt like pushing it a bit too far. So, did you agree with this list? Let me know down below who you think the best alien is, and while you're down there, make sure to like and subscribe, it helps me out a ton. And speaking of helping me out a ton, thank you to today's supporters. It genuinely means the world to me that they support a channel like mine. But in the meantime, thank you all for watching, and I'll see you all in the next video. Take care, everyone.